Now let's take a look at both of these knives under 10 times magnification just to really see the difference up close. Let's start with the brand new knife first. Alright, so here's our brand new knife. You can see there's a big primary bevel on there. There is no secondary bevel. But what we're looking for is the crispness of the cutting edge up at the top there. Looks really good even under 10 times magnification. Now here's the one that was just sharpened recently. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty hard to call that a sharp knife. I do not want to cut wood with that right now. Look at all those filings just hanging off the tip. Alright, so now let me show you what you can do about this. We can start honing the bevel side as well as the back using some water stones or diamond stones. Now honestly, water stones are not designed to handle high-speed steel, so it takes a little longer. But if that's all you have, it will work. It just takes maybe, a few dozen extra strokes. But I'll show you a diamond stone option as well as water stones, and you use whatever you happen to have at the time. All right, I'll go get my stones and be back in a second. Well, once I have it, here's the beauty of the jig. I can pop the jig out after honing the first knife, rotate to the next knife, drop the jig in from the top again, and that cutter head will be locked exactly in the same position for each knife as I go around. Okay, if I had to release the lock on the infeed bed every time, it would be hard to get back exactly in the same spot. But because the jig can be popped straight up and down, I can get back to the same position every time. Okay, so now the next question is, well, where do we want the knife to be in its rotation to get the lowest possible secondary bevel? If you want the three knives absolutely identical in height, you would keep rubbing until it refuses to cut anymore. See, already the cutting's getting way quieter, which means the stone is barely taking any more metal off. But you might have one area where the metal's slightly higher and you have to do more strokes. That's okay. Okay, that's already done. I'm going to do a little bit of 8,000 grit just for fun. I mean, because this takes so little time, I mentioned before, 1,000 grit really is plenty for a joiner. But I've played around with it a little, just do a little 4,000, a little 8,000, like literally just for a few strokes each. And the wood comes out, glassy smooth. It's for such a small amount of time. Sometimes it's worth something like that just to make you feel better. Deburr the back with the slipstone. Blow out any stray bits of stone that have gotten cut off by the knife, or vacuum it up. And ready for the third knife. Now I've used this technique on jointers of all kinds of different makes and models. 6-inch joiners, 8-inch, 12-inch, 16-inch, and so on. But also I've done it on jointers that are European and don't have a rabbiting ledge. So unfortunately this jig doesn't have anywhere to go, okay? And that includes things like European jointer planer combination machines where the knives are disposable. Okay, one is called the Tursa system, one's called the Wego system. Now, even though those models or those types of machines have disposable knives, they're quite expensive. So using this technique to hone them and get more use out of them is still very worthwhile, even though you can change the knives quickly with those machines. Now, here's what